This is the new Toyota CHR. It's the same, only better. That's all, folks. I'll see you next time. Not quite. Not everything is better, and I'm here to tell you some things in this Toyota are quite shoddy. This is what I do. Let's go.
The Toyota CHR is a B crossover launched in 2016 that started a design revolution for the brand that has so far competed against Volkswagen for the world's dullest car. The CHR concept, unveiled first in Paris in 2014 and then in Frankfurt in 2015, wasn't really taken seriously because clearly Toyota wouldn't produce such a thing. "Hold my beer," said Akio Toyoda, and just like that, you can barely throw a rock without hitting a CHR. Not only the CHR looked like a concept model, but also subsequent Toyota models began to stand out from the crowd. So much so that the 5th generation Prius claimed the 2024 World Automotive Design of the Year award, beating the Ford Bronco and the Ferrari Purosangue. And indeed, as far as looks are concerned, the new Prius kicks design butt.
They say boldly styled cars age quickly, and it's then difficult to design a good follow-up. Well, to me it looks like Toyota has succeeded.
From the front, the CHR reminds me of a smiling cartoon shark. I can't walk past it and not smile. The sidelines are three-dimensional, just like in the Hyundai Kona, but in the CHR the emphasis is again on style and not necessarily on function. We'll talk about the rear doors in a moment. Full marks for style though, the competition doesn't even deserve a star for trying. The rear is the most controversial, even more so in the two-tone body color, where on the one hand the rear lamps are beautifully exposed and that CHR badge should glow all the time. And on the other hand, the shapes are lost in black, and again, I have some fishy associations, but more with catfish, which doesn't look as cuddly as one may expect by its name. And that's disappointing. The exterior dimensions have changed slightly from the previous generation. The car is a bit shorter, but a little wider. The Hyundai Kona and the Honda HR-V are comparable in size.
On paper, the Toyota CHR boot has around 350 liters capacity, but it looks bigger, and according to my measurements it's closer to 400 liters. Perhaps it's a matter of VDA methodology, where 20 by 10 by 5 centimeter blocks are used, and clearly less than 400 fit in here.
There are two shopping bag hooks. Under the floor is a repair kit and some breaker for the hybrid high voltage system. At least this time Toyota didn't leave it exposed like in the Corolla Cross. With the seats folded, there is no flat loading area, which could have been resolved with a double floor, but Toyota couldn't be bothered. And that's not the only instance of Toyota doing a shoddy job on this car. I like the buttons to close the tailgate as well as to lock the car. You can also pull on the tailgate and it will start closing automatically, something I recall I wasn't able to make work in the Skoda Kamiq. Perhaps it was a reviewer's error.
How can Toyota do a shoddy job on a car? Well, for example, soundproofing, or rather lack thereof. Take a listen. This is just an empty tin. I recall making fun of Ford for putting literal plastic bags of sound deadening in here. Toyota didn't even bother doing that. And those rubber bits seems like a bit of an afterthought, no? Or the sound of the doors closing. It doesn't sound solid. And we'll talk about the door handles later, because the fact they pop out is the least of their problems. Actually, these aren't the worst I've dealt with.
Meanwhile, let's look in the back, where the first thing you notice is that the doors have a narrow opening. Toyota must have designed the best hinge on earth, but its only downside is that it opens quite narrow. On the positive side, doors cover the sills, On the negative side, rear windows are still quite small, so it's dark inside. There is no armrest, there are no air vents, but we get one USB-C port. The legroom and headroom are better than one could assume by looking into this dark abyss, but clearly the design brief wasn't for a family car. The cup holders are still in the doors.
Up front, Toyota has managed to combine modern looks with a lot of physical controls. So we get a digital instrument cluster, we get a wide screen here in the middle, but we also get physical controls for AC and many of the car's features. The cockpit wraps around the driver and separates them from the passenger, which on the one hand can be interesting from a design point of view, but on the other hand I can see some disadvantages for the passenger because this partition separates them from the USB port and makes access to the cup holders a bit more cumbersome.
In addition, there are plenty of soft-to-touch materials, there are sizable door pockets, and storage under the armrest. There's also a shelf in front of the passenger and a glove box. The infotainment system is the same as in all new Toyota and Lexus models of the last 2 years. It's much better than the one before, and if possible, it's better not to use it because the logic of the menus leaves much to be desired. A big plus is wireless Android Auto. Toyota is also promoting the My Toyota app, not to be confused with MyT, which no longer works in this car. From My Toyota app, you can remotely open the car, check its status and location, flash the hazard lights, start air conditioning, and eventually use it as a virtual key. Generally, you don't really need the app, which reminds you to check the rear seats 15 minutes after you locked the car, but the vehicle doesn't remind you to take your phone.
The only reason the app could make sense would be if Toyota saved one's choices regarding agreeing to terms and conditions of using the car. Every time I start the car, there's a prompt on the screen, and I can agree only when the car is in park. And when the car is on the move, I can only disagree or stop the car and agree. Couldn't we just save one answer and assume as long as the app is connected to the car, the answer hasn't changed? And now listen close, because I will be putting the car in gear. And this is the sound of door handles resonating in an empty tin. The first time this happened to me, I thought something fell on the car or someone crashed into me. I don't understand how could they sign this off for production? Okay, let's get it over with. The soundproofing is bad, like in the Prius. There is almost no sound deadening under the bonnet, and it's very likely there isn't much in the cabin either. For example, the Prius had just a thin piece of felt, and that's it. As a result, as soon as the engine kicks in, it gets loud inside. When another car passes me by, I can hear it as well. And when I accelerate over 50 kilometers per hour, it's loud inside. Speaking of accelerating, the Intelligent Speed Assist, or ISA, is easier to disable now, not as easy as in the BMW or Mercedes, where you just have to press one button, but this time you can do it while driving and you don't have to be in park.
The way I have set up the instrument cluster is so that I need just 14 clicks to turn off ISA, and I can do it without taking my eyes off the road. I just need to click OK, then 11 times down, OK again, and return. Every time I start the car, lovely. But if you like to drive fast, you can leave ISA on because you won't be able to hear it over the noises the car makes, and you'll also need to turn up the radio to hear what you're listening to.
Okay, enough whinging, let's talk about what Toyota has improved. Firstly, we have the new generation hybrid powertrain. It may have debuted some 2 years ago in the previous gen CHR, but this is a slightly newer, more powerful version. It's called the Hybrid Dynamic Force, and it has 197 horsepower in this application. Also, this car gets intelligent all-wheel drive. So, it's got some kick and it's relatively economical. Toyota promises around 5 liters per 100 kilometers combined. My best result was below 4 liters per 100 kilometers, and 4.5 liters is easily achievable.
Toyota claims the CHR with all-wheel drive will do 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.9 seconds. In sport mode, I was a fraction of a second short, but it was a wet morning. All-wheel drive is there mainly to improve on-road performance. On my test route, I was impressed with how, at speed, the CHR held its course, where the Lexus NX would run wide. However, the steering isn't the quickest, so don't be surprised if you hit a curb rather than exit the roundabout. On my diagonal approach test, where I stop halfway, leaving wheels on the diagonal with limited traction and try to get going again, the CHR barely made it. It's okay on a country road as long as you don't hit a mud pit. Also, 15.4 cm ground clearance should tell you all you need to know about this car's off-road prowess.
Driver aids. Yeah, this is yet another Japanese car that tries to overpower the driver instead of helping them. The CHR can warn and react with a delay once the danger has passed, but the car brakes anyway, and you have to press the brake, release the brake to get moving again. At intersections, the driver attention monitoring system often tells me to look ahead. Meanwhile, I have to look left and right and check if there's any oncoming cross traffic. And turning off the ESA also turns off sign recognition, so you're on your own. The only thing that works properly is adaptive cruise control, but even that...
Attention.
Oh, shut up.
In 1 kilometer, queuing traffic.
Yeah, but even when the ACC is set to the shortest distance, the Toyota starts braking too early, in my opinion, so I have to switch lanes, which then causes me to block the traffic, which is moving faster in the left lane, so not ideal.
Price of the new Toyota CHR started at €34,990 for the 140 horsepower front-wheel drive 1.8-liter hybrid. The 2-liter hybrid dynamic force starts at €40,190 and €45,890 for the all-wheel drive. There is also a front-wheel drive plug-in hybrid which starts at €43,490. This test car with options costs around €50,000.
I like the way the new CHR looks, I like how it rides and handles, I accept the rear seats are for occasional use only, and the boot is a dark, unarranged hole. However, I'm not ready to accept lack of proper soundproofing and half-baked software which turned this otherwise visually appealing car into a torture chamber. How could have they signed off on this? And what do you think about the new Toyota CHR? Should I get some earplugs and stop whinging? Or maybe you also think at this price point Toyota could have thrown in some extra felt? Let me know in the comment section below.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.